It's another beautiful day, another beautiful walk. It feels so good to be out here. It always feels good. I love these walks and these video journals because they're not scripted. I just literally start talking about whatever happens to be on my mind, because that's what I do when I walk and I write and I have my journal. It's just whatever comes to mind. Another red card, 2 of them. This is the second day in a row I've seen 2 red cardinals. But anyway, there's something that happens when we take these walks in nature. We are regulating our nervous system. And I've been having a lot of conversations lately about nervous system regulation. I don't know if it's become a trend or what, but it's something that I had to learn very early on, how to regulate my nervous system. And that's why I started walking every day, because I realized that when I take these midday walks, I'm more calmer. I am able to digest better. I'm able to think more clearly. I'm no longer the anxious or the angry person that I once was. Mind you, this took many years for me to get here. But why is our nervous system dysregulated in the first place? Well, first of all, there are so many distractions, there's so many stimulations out there. We've been stimulated since birth, if you really think about it. From the very moment that you're conceived, you're consuming whatever it is that your mother was eating and or watching or feeling. If your mother's nervous system was dysregulated, you are now being created in a dysregulated environment. So as humans, many of us came into this world with an unregulated nervous system. Therefore, we feel as though it's the norm, right? But it's not. It's really not the norm. And when we start to get a taste of what it feels like to regulate your nervous system, such as doing meditative exercises, breath work, breathing properly, being out in nature, movement, eating the right foods, all of these things help regulate our nervous system, right? And like I said, once people start getting a taste of that, they want more. They want to know what it feels like to be calm. They want to know what it feels like to not overreact or not be a product of their environment in a way that feels chaotic. And so I was talking to a friend yesterday about different ways that we can become aware that our nervous system is dysregulated. And one of those ways is, how do you feel when you're sitting in silence? Do you feel as though you need to be doing something? Are you fidgeting? Are you feeling anxious? Are you able to even sit in silence? That's a really good indication. Are you able to meditate? Are you able to journal and really sit with your thoughts? Are you able to wake up in the morning and not check your phone? Are you able to not react when someone cuts you off in the highway or cuts you off on your way to work? Those are very common examples, but one that I was telling my friend about was specifically me feeling like at any moment in time, I'm sitting in my own house, which, is my place. I'm an adult. But sitting at home and feeling like something from my childhood was going to come up at any moment in time, at any point in time, and forgetting for a moment that, wait, I am an adult. I'm healing through this. I don't have to be concerned, right? So that moment of awareness came to me, and I was like, you know what, let me go meditate, or let me journal about this, because as these feelings come up, we have to work through them. It's a process. Showering is another great way that I like to regulate my nervous system, calm myself down. The sauna a great one. Really, it's being comfortable with the body and understanding that our gateway to how we're feeling is through the body. And when the body is overstimulated, when the mind is overstimulated, it's really hard to receive messages from source. It's really hard to hear your intuition. It's really hard to use your discernment and make decisions based on what you're feeling and what you're hearing. Because if you're feeling dysregulated, disorganized, chaotic, that's essentially what your experiences begin to look like, right? So it's all connected, mind, body, spirit, all that good stuff. I'm just having so much fun with these video diaries. I don't know if they're gonna make much sense, but honestly, I don't care. I'm having so much fun. One of my favorite ways to regulate the nervous system, however, is to go out in nature, as I mentioned, like these walks, but also going on hikes, sitting outside with nothing but you and your body and nature, no distractions. Playing with animals is another great way to regulate your nervous system. And honestly, really, if you truly can, I would recommend going on some sort of solo silent retreat. It can be in your home. You could say, okay, for a day, I am not checking my phone for anything. Obviously, let people know what you're doing so that way they don't think anything happened to you if that's your situation. But deciding on a day where you just are with yourself. This is really hard for a lot of people to do. And honestly, if you can do more than one day, that would be even better. But some people can't. Some people don't have the luxury of doing that, which I understand. But build your way up. Even if you just do 12 hours for one day and then you're able to build yourself up to, a full day and then 2 days, whatever the case is, build up over time. But we need to have moments of complete silence and stillness. And you can do this in your home, you can do this outside, you can do this on a retreat or a solo vacation. You pick whatever that looks like for you and make it happen, because that's what's required and what's necessary. And while you're doing this silent retreat, you want to journal about your experience. You want to document your experience, possibly if you have a camera that allows you to be disconnected from the world but also still be able to document your experience. That could be really helpful as well. But you want to, again, bring awareness to what's coming up, and then that will allow you to know what you need to work on. If you need to start implementing a daily yoga practice, that's something that could help you regulate your nervous system. If you notice that when you're alone and you're in silence and you're craving sweets or you're craving something that may not be good for you, whether it be a person, whether it be social media, whatever the case is, you want to take note of all of these things so that you can begin to work through them and understand where they're coming from. They're coming from the need for your nervous system to feel comfort, to feel like it's always been feeling. Like I said, we came into this world dysregulated, overstimulated, easily programmed, right? And we're trying to undo that. That's the whole point of this. Yeah. I really just want everyone to feel good. Like, I don't wake up feeling great every single day, but I know how to get there. And I know that the days where I don't feel great are an invitation for me to learn more about myself, and to find ways to get back to feeling great. And as a result, I discover new things about myself that I like to do, or that I'm capable of doing. I'm a little out of breath today because I'm walking really fast. But it's so beautiful. It's gonna start raining soon. But I feel like this is my favorite part of the day, when it transitions from being so hot and the clouds kind of come in and cool things down right before it starts to rain, and then the rain comes, and then I'm like inside chilling, working on a video, working on something creative, right? Yes. One other thing I wanted to mention about nervous system regulation is that when you're coming from an environment that's so overly stimulating and you finally make the conscious decision to calm your nervous system, it's going to require a lot of rest from you. So don't feel bad if you need to take a couple of days off. Don't feel bad if you don't feel like doing anything for a couple of days, because your body is adjusting to finally feeling safe. Your body is adjusting to not having to be overworked, not being overstimulated with endorphins and flight or flight hormones that are confusing the body, confusing the mind into thinking that we constantly have to be in survival mode. And I really want to get into the science of all of this, because there's a beautiful science to it. And I'll correct myself if I'm wrong in the comments, but basically what happens is when your nervous system is out of regulation, what's actually happening is your body is constantly releasing chemicals to make it think that it needs to be running away from a predator. But this is happening on a psychological level because we're no longer physically in danger. We're not hunter-gatherers anymore. We're 21st century humans, right? And so this need for survival has become mental based on what we've been consuming in our environment, digitally, on social media, from conversations, from the foods that we eat, from the electromagnetic waves that are all around us. So these send signals to our body, and our body produces these hormones, right? And these hormones run throughout our bloodstream. And for some people, it's a lot more than they can handle. It's a lot more than anyone should handle, really. And what happens is that these hormones make it difficult for regular bodily system functions to occur. So for example, if you have adrenaline rushing through your bloodstream, you can no longer process insulin. Therefore, insulin is also running rampant in your bloodstream, hence why we have people who suffer from diabetes. I guarantee you, if someone were to come to me in a clinic and they were presented with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic, I would begin working on their nervous system. Why? Because their nervous system needs to get rid of the surging hormones that are not allowing for the insulin to go where it needs to go to be processed, right? And like I said, I will confirm all of this science in the comments down below. Biochemistry went from my least favorite class to my favorite class, so I am experiencing a newfound love for biochemistry and understanding how we operate on a molecular level, because it's all connected. Just the same way that I can talk about what's actually happening to our nervous system on a cellular level, we can talk about it on a spiritual level as well. We can talk about it on a physical level, mental and emotional. It's all connected. But I will say this, once you start taking action, once you start taking the right steps, once you start taking it into your own hands, increasing your awareness and understanding that you have the ability to make choices and take actions in the right direction, everything will begin to change little by little, poco y poco, yeah? And so this has been another great video journal entry. And I encourage you to do some more research, learn more about yourself, learn more about your body, learn more about how you can fully optimize and receive more from source by removing whatever is blocking you, whatever is getting in the way. And again, like I said, the biggest thing being nervous system regulation. Say it with me, nervous system regulation.